Welcome back, everyone, to another great episode of Sell This Flipping Cars. I'm Zachary, and in today's episode, we are going to save you a lot of money and dive in deep to the 2008 Toyota Highlander valve cover, gasket, removal, replacement. We're going to get it done, so stay tuned, guys. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, and let's jump in it. We're going to jump right into this, getting the plastic off the engine. If you take that cap off right there, that whole cover will pop right off. Next, we have this intake tube, which is held on by two 10mm bolts and the clamp at the back that you need to loosen to remove that. We'll see the rest of the air box is held on by a couple clamps that you can just unfasten and take off. All right, so already we went ahead and removed the tube that we had placed right there. The intake manifold that was on top, nice big box here. Now we actually have the intake manifold itself that we have to get to get the rear three coils. So we have access to the front ones, we just have to knock out the back. But this job usually costs about $600 at the repair shops. Dealerships, I'm sure, is even more. All right. Welcome back, everyone, to another great day of wrenching. We're gonna go ahead and remove the throttle body so we can access this support nut that's right behind it. Okay, it is a 10mm that you'll be using. There is two bolts on a support bracket right here as well you can grab. So we'll be needing to get that out of our way. Once you loosen up the 10mm with the ratchet, you can go ahead and take it out by hand. Just go ahead and do an X pattern. These housings are aluminum. You don't want to put any tension on it. You don't have to, because they will break. Okay, and the last thing you want is to replace one of these housings. You have to go to a junkyard, because you'll definitely find these out in the junkyard. Too easy. 3.3 liter V6. This is also a great time to check your seals. Little gaskets that you'll have behind your throttle body and your intake manifold. Oh, there we go. And she just pops off right there. Too easy. Okay, move your bolts out of the way. You see right under here, you have a nice rubber gasket. This one actually looks pretty nice. Not dry rotted, minus that tab. The rest actually looks pretty clean. So let's go ahead and move the throttle body out of the way. We'll go ahead and get these two support bolts that we have up top. And that way we can, whoop, that's an easy way to lose an extension and a socket right there. And guess what? It's a 10mm on it. You already know that thing's trying to run. A 10mm. They should just sell an entire mechanic case with 10mm in it. There we go. That out of the way. We got these Butterfingers this morning. All right, that's not a 10. It looks like that 12. The 12 that we set aside since we no. All right, we got the throttle body off. Now we have to get these bolts behind it. We have two that you can feel on the back of this neck, and then you have the three on the front. So let's go ahead, pre-soak that with some WD-40 while we grab the socket real quick. What a great spot you are. All right, cool. Grab that 12. In like flint. There you go, 12 millimeter, guys. Just broke it loose. Come on, get back on there. Yep, she's loose. Sweet. That one took a second. My goodness. Remember, guys, spray these bolts with WD-40 or PB Blaster. Don't try to go in there dry. You will break these. And that little plastic housing, that'll be a very bad day. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's not hard to drill, you know, to get the little bolt out. One on the bottom. And we got one more. Of course, that one more is the one in the worst position. Should have probably did that one first, just to get the worst one out of the way. This, got a support bolt. I'm gonna try to move out of the way. Just in my way trying to get this last bolt, so I'm just playing it safe, guys, and removing it. It is a 10 millimeter bolt. I'd rather be safe than sorry, and break this, bend it. Any damage to this, I do not have to. Yeah, are you working on your 2008 Toyota Highlander with the 3.3 liter V6 engine and you are going to remove the intake manifold? Well, hey, word of the wise, you got 3 support braces waiting for you on the back side. So keep on the lookout. You got the one on the left, you got the 2 on the right. Those bolts for the support brackets are 12 millimeter and you can access them with a wrench. If you see oil on your ignition coils, this is a great indication that your spark plug well O-rings are worn and need to be replaced. Now we need to remove this harness rail so we can access the bolt for the valve cover underneath. When it comes to removing the fuel rail harness, just plastic guide here, you got 2 nuts right there and they're studs, and they are E6 in size. Okay, a 4 millimeter will fit on there, but it won't turn it. Okay, you see on there that you actually have teeth on those. That one a little bit more detailed than the other one. Just gonna go ahead and put your E6 on there, loosen it up. Okay. Once we do that, we can go ahead and take those E6 studs all the way out, put them aside. That way we can get the fuel rail harness. It's not really a fuel rail, it's the fuel injector harness. But we're just gonna move it out of our way so we can access that last 10 millimeter bolt right there to pull off the front cover replace the valve cover gasket on the front. All right, installation tip on the valve cover gasket and the spark plug O-ring wells on the 2008 Toyota Highlander. This has the 3.3 liter V6 engine. When putting in the spark plug O-ring, okay, bend one of the little tabs up, install the O-ring, make sure you lubricate the outside with some oil or a little bit of grease. Insert the O-ring and then bend the tab back into position to lock it in. When reinstalling the valve cover, start retightening the bolts starting from the center and working your way out in an X pattern. The torque spec is 69 inch-pounds, so it's not going to take that much. Don't wrench them down too hard. Make sure you give it a little bit of a wiggle to make sure the valve gasket is seated. All right, now that we got the valve covers on, the new valve cover gaskets, we can go ahead and install the new spark plugs and ignition coils that we got. If you are looking for these parts as well, you can find them in the video description with the tools used in today's video as well. So we're going to go ahead and grab a 5/8 spark plug socket on a 6-inch extension, 1/2-inch drive, and we're going to go ahead and extract the old sockets and not old sockets, old spark plugs, and get these new ones installed and have this thing living and breathing a whole new life. After reinstalling the new spark plugs and new ignition coils, you can reconnect the harnesses and put the two support bolts back into the fuel rail harness that also holds the ignition coil switches as well. Let's go ahead and just start throwing everything back together. It is just the disassembly in reverse. Bolts can be very overwhelming with the quantity that comes out of an engine. But remember, there's only a certain amount that goes to each component. Match them up, they all tell their own story. Remember that. Don't be overwhelmed. We do have some steering and suspension repairs as well to this 2008 Toyota Highlander that we have to complete. So if you're looking at ways to save on your auto repairs this year and you have a Toyota Highlander, well, stay tuned for those